Hey everybody, Carl again. Just want to go ahead and share with you today's tip. As you know, I've been going through a series called the top 23 home buyer tips I've learned in the last 23 years as a broker and agent. Today's tip, tip number 4, I should say, is Zillow isn't accurate. Now, you probably know this already from some experience of your own, and if you haven't heard, maybe your broker or realtor friend has probably told you. But the reality is Zillow is not accurate, and let me tell you why this is important to you. Zillow is not an accurate source of pricing, and here's why this is important. Point number 1, Zillow itself will tell you, they'll admit that their median error rate is around 5%. I mean, that can be an awful lot of money depending on where you are in the United States. You know, it depends on really on the availability of the data that they have. Here in Pima County where I live, they have a lot of access to the data through the sold data. That's through the Pima County record systems. Our systems are very quick. When something records here in town, it usually updates down at the county very quickly, at the assessor's office website, and that's where Zillow gets theirs. So needless to say, their information for our county is not so bad. It's about 3.5% off. But some areas of the county, of the country, the record keeping is not so good. When you think about it, West Virginia, for example, West Virginia has 7.4% accuracy rate. Now, that's an awful lot of money. And even within the states themselves, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but even within the states themselves, there's an awful lot of difference. Here in Pima County, as I mentioned, it's 3.5%, but also here in Arizona, Apache County, just north of us, is 16% off. So what's a homeowner to do? I mean, when you're trying to figure out what to do to sell your property, or if you're a home buyer trying to figure out what to offer on a property, how are you supposed to figure out what a property is actually worth? Well, Zillow can give you kind of a ballpark. I mean, certainly it can give you kind of a ballpark of where to go, but it doesn't really take into a lot of key features, you know, square footage, amenities, things that have been added on. You know, when you think about it, it can cause you to leave a lot of money on the table, or if you're a buyer, pay way too much for a home than you need to. I wrote down 3% of $200,000 is $6,000, and 16% of $200,000 is $32,000. That's just an enormous amount of money to be leaving on the table. So how do you figure out what a property is really worth when you're trying to buy it or when you're trying to sell it? Well, I wrote down, where can you do it? Well, sales price is variable, right? It depends on a lot of factors. It depends on concessions. It depends on it's an arm's length transaction, a short sale, divorce. A lot of factors could affect the ultimate sales price of a property. The best way to know what a property like yours or a home you're considering making an offer on is worth is to have an agent who's full-time and local to that area review the property and kind of give you an idea of what they feel the home's probably worth in today's market. And here's why. That person has a lot of access to buyers who pay in the market. They also know what amenities home buyers are looking for. They also have access to other properties that are currently available or have recently sold on the market. You know, the next thing you could do, obviously, you could hire an appraiser. You know, the problem with having an appraiser, however, is you could pay $300 to $500 to have somebody come through it and give you essentially the same information a realtor could give you for free. Unless you have some specific need to have it, you know, on some specific form of paper, there's really very little reason why you need to use an appraisal just to give an opinion of value, right? I also wrote down, you know, you could go to realtor.com to kind of back up some of your thoughts on Zillow or some of these other areas. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear your thought. If you're planning on buying a property, or if you're currently a realtor in your area, tell me, what's the best way you've found to find local values? As always, I hope that you found this helpful and have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.